I'm Andrea Clausen, and today I'm going to show you guys a few of my favorite heart-opening postures. So these are a little bit more yin, and you can either do it along with me, or if you want to just incorporate one of these after a yoga practice, that's another way to use these yin postures. And so simply what yin means is you're going to hold things like usually 3 to 5 minutes, up to 15 minutes depending on the posture. And it's really up to you to decide when you want to use it. This is a great way, maybe at the end of your day, you do a legs up the wall. I'm going to show you a great one on the bolster, one of my new favorites for a little bit of a heart opener. And so these feel great. Sometimes we get tight right through here, that mid part of our back. And these are great to open up that area. If you feel emotionally kind of all stuck and blocked together, these are great postures to practice as well. So I'm going to show you a few of these, and I'm going to time us as we're in them. So if you want to join me, I'm going to have a bolster and a block. And if you don't have a bolster, a firmer pillow will work. If you have a really soft pillow that's not going to be as great, potentially a foam roller will work. Or if you have a harder yoga mat, like my other yoga mat I can show you is a Manduka, and this one's a heavy mat, so this would work because it's pretty firm. If I laid on it, it's not going to squish all together. But those are some ideas for something to use if you don't have a bolster per se. So we're going to go ahead and come on down to the mat, and I'm going to start with this bolster, and I'm going to do a little bit of a position for this. So mine's a little bit more, I guess lengthwise, it's a little bit longer than I'm used to, so we'll see how well this works. But I'm going to come down with my shoulders kind of right over the top of my bolster. Now this block is optional, so if you want a really deep one, just go ahead and let that head rest on the mat. Otherwise, if you need, you can always put that block here or on this lengthwise. Because my bolster is a little bit shorter, this doesn't feel too bad for me. And this would be a great one just to kind of open up. Now, noticing my legs are bent, that is a great way to help protect that low back. If you're like, okay, I think I can go a little bit more, then you can straighten those legs out, and it's going to be a little bit more of an intense of an angle. So deciding which one works best for you. Now, I'm going to leave us here for another 2 minutes, and I'll cue us out, and I'm going to be quiet so you guys can chill out and relax, but I'm going to give you guys out in about 2 minutes from this posture. And yin, usually there isn't talking by the teacher. I figured I better tell you this before I just leave you in silence. So usually this is a great introspective practice. So thinking of, just seeing what goes on in the body and with your mind, this is a great time to go inwards and just see what comes up while you're holding this posture. Your eyes are closed, maybe you open your eyes up. If you have a block on the head, maybe you remove it. If you don't, I just want you to gently lift that head up, and we're just going to gently roll over onto our side, and we're just going to take a few breaths here. Maybe you use your bolster as a little pillow. I just like to do this to recalibrate because you might have shifted some energy. So a nice little in-between posture is perfect in yin. Good, and we'll go ahead and push back up to the seated position. All right, so our next one, we're gonna need the bolster again, so keep it handy. We're gonna do a little one with the block. So if you have 2 blocks, awesome. I'm gonna show you this. If you have 1 block, maybe you get a pillow for your head. So you'd have 1 block between your shoulders and a pillow underneath your head, or use your bolster and put that underneath your head. So this one is another one, and this one's a little bit more intense. So we're gonna start, and we're gonna be about at the mid back with this block. So kind of station yourself away from that block as need be. So when you roll over it, it's kind of right between those shoulder blades. And then this, again, you can let your head dangle. I don't like to do that. But if it feels good to you, go for it. And then again, your head can rest on that block. Arms are gonna lift up, and so palms up towards the ceiling. Same thing, knees stay bent, or you can straighten them. I'm gonna keep mine bent in this posture just because it's a little bit more intense of a posture. And so again, I'm gonna let us stay here, and this can be a bolster or a pillow underneath your head up here. And if it gets too intense, roll over to your side and just curl up in that ball, and then just wait for us to be done with this posture. But I'll get us about another 1.5 minutes in this pose, okay? So I'll leave you guys in silence and just kind of see what comes up. And then to come out of this posture, we might lift our head up and then just gently push into those elbows up off the block. And then to counter this posture, we're gonna take a tree stump pose. So placing those feet flat on the ground, giving our knees a hug, letting that forehead come down, opening up through the back side of the body. I'm going to show you guys one last posture, and this one is going to use that bolster again and maybe a block. So I'm going to show you option 1 without any blocks. So this one's more of a nice restorative, relaxing heart opener. So if the other 2 were too intense, this one might feel a little bit better. So option 1, this is going to be a little bit more intense than the next option of this posture, but laying it flat on the ground, and you'll just take your sits bones or the back of your hips right alongside that bolster, and then you're just gonna lay back over the top of it, arms coming out. Ooh, that feels really nice after the last pose we just did. So you might stay here, or if you want a little bit more of an incline, sometimes I really like this one to end my yoga classes with, and Shavasana, and take a block, and you would just do a slight incline with your bolster, and then bonus, like I have a blanket right here, and this can be a little bit of a hip opener too at the end, that you kind of wrap your feet in this blanket and you just kind of pull it through like this. So out to the sides, and then you pull the blanket through the middle of your legs. So your feet are nice and toasty and your hips are taken care of, and you kind of wrap your feet around it, laying back over the bolster. Knees can be together, or toes together, knees can be out wide. And so you can do a little Supta Baddha Konasana. This one's not as deep of a chest opener, so if you keep your arms down here, it's not as deep. If you want them a little deeper, arms can be a little bit more straight. So this is a nice relaxing one. If you don't like this, the legs can just go straight, and then relaxing into this one. So again, I'm going to let you guys be here for about another minute and a half. So this will be our last posture, kind of like a Shavasana, to finish up our practice today. Gently blink those eyes open. Wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe pulling those knees into the chest. And then rolling over onto that side again. Rolling into that ball, maybe removing that block and just kind of laying on that bolster if that feels good. Taking a few breaths here. Pushing into that hand, coming up to a comfortable seated position. Arms coming up overhead, bringing them down through that third eye, trusting your intuition, bringing your hands to your lips, speaking your truth. Bring your hands to heart center, knowing yourself. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you guys, and remember you can do this as a practice itself or at the end of any of your yoga practices.